And we are back. Appreciate y'all for tapping in, man. Got a little bit of Friday work for y'all, man. We love y'all. We working hard for y'all. Look at my eyes. We working hard. Hey, man, we love y'all, man. We love y'all. Appreciate y'all for tapping in with us on this lovely Friday, man. Bryan, I wanted to talk about some things. We're at the point of the season where we're forecasting for next year. What do some of these guys look like next year? And I think by the time we get into the Giants' work, I don't think the Cowboys are going to be playing starters or big names like that. I think there's going to be an evaluation period for young guys. So, Bryan, man, I got some names on my list here. I just kind of want to get your thoughts about what their 2025 was like, and that'll be obvious, we'll agree. What their 2025 was like, and how do you forecast them?
Well, can I ask you a real quick one since you're doing that, since you're talking about forecasting?
Por favor.
Since, and I'm interested in this one. Mm-hmm. Where's the thought going to be about Tyler Guyton? Because I go back to training camp. Mm-hmm. Yes. I hijacked your show here.
No, please. No, hey, we got time.
You brought us all to the light that when you first hit ground in Oxnard, you said, "Hey, I'm watching. Tyler Guyton looks like a better player."
Yes, sir.
Where is the judgment going to fall in Voch Lombardi's eyes from day one in Oxnard to a guy that's struggling to get back on the field right now?
So there's one point that you're making. It's a recurring point where I totally agree with you. It's about his health.
Yeah.
Right? Where is he at with his health? If Guyton can't stay healthy, it's going to be hard for us.
Maybe that's why we're seeing a left tackle situation with Smith being out there.
I don't think Smith is going to be a long-term option for you at left tackle. I think they're going to put his ass right back at left guard.
I agree with you, but go ahead and finish about Guyton.
I just think they don't want to put Guyton out there right now versus Washington versus Giants. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if we got a playoff berth and Guyton got 2 weeks to rest, I believe you'll see him in the wild card. But we don't.
Right.
And it doesn't make sense to add another injury on top of another injury and risk it again, right? You don't want to get him hurt. I think they're actually resting Tyler Guyton because they got faith that he'll come back fine next year.
Right.
That's how I feel.
Right.
So all Guyton has to do.
But he progressed then in your eyes well, with the exception of what happened with the injury.
Of course he did. To everybody's eyes.
Yeah.
We saw who he was. And look, let's go back. I saw him at Oklahoma, Bryan.
Yeah.
And I wasn't a fan.
Yeah.
And I saw him in year one as a Cowboy, and I was like, that's exactly why I didn't like him at Oklahoma.
Right.
Right? But he sold me on the idea that he's working a lot harder.
Right.
I did this to work on this. I'm thinking about flexibility now. I'm thinking about core strength now. Mm-hmm. I've been working on knee bend. Mm-hmm. We get to camp, all those things are true.
Right.
All those things are true. And lo and behold, when he was playing, still had warts, but he's far better than his rookie year, right?
Right.
So now Tyler Guyton got a whole nother hurdle. He's got to keep that mindset. He's got to keep that hard work mindset, and he's got to go into this offseason and have another leap for year 3. I don't think it's funny how all these dudes that are like pass blockers, athletic dudes that go to these programs where they throw the football end up being great run blockers. Mm-hmm. Tyler Guyton ended up being a really good run blocker.
He sure did.
A fantastic run blocker for you. But picking up run blocking is a little easier than picking up pass blocking where you only played 10 games in college, a half of a season your rookie year, and then you get tossed out there versus some dudes in year 2. I forecast Tyler Guyton to get even better and to have a much better year 3 campaign. I can't say the same about the right tackle. I think we've seen who he is.
Right.
Terrence Steele's bread is baked.
He is.
It's over with. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think Tyler Guyton still got so much more room to grow, Bryan.
Yeah. I just would wonder because I kind of agree with you about it. I think the only real question I have about Tyler Guyton is can he stay healthy?
Yeah.
I think the work ethic is there. I think the desire to be there and play at a high level is there. I just worry about his health. And I wonder if he's got, I do a lot of work because of my radio program, having to watch NBA games and stuff like that. Yeah. A lot of these big, tall, long guys deal with a lot of injuries along the way. And I would just wonder if he's kind of got the basketball body that kind of keeps him from being, a guy that could put together 2, 3, 4 years in a row of good health and play at a really high level. I think he's capable of playing at a high level. He can't play right now.
Luckily, he ain't jumping up and down on the hard court. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Bryan, 2 names for you.
Okay.
Ryan Flournoy and KaVontae Turpin. How are their 2025s, and what do you forecast for them in 2026?
You know, Ryan Flournoy, when we were out at camp, started off really slow. Mm-hmm. He was a guy that was it was hard to get noticed. He was had a hard time getting noticed. Mm-hmm. He wasn't getting the ball. You were kind of
Holden was better.
Yeah, you were kind of wondering. You were wondering what the hell's going on here. Mm-hmm. What's why here's another one of those. Oh, they threw a dart at a 6th round guy and it's not going to work out. Yeah. Oh, they got Mingo and this is the redundancy thing that you like to talk about, which I totally buy into that.
Yes, sir.
But he started off really poorly, and then all of a sudden there was a situation where CeeDee Lamb, after the Chicago game, got hurt, and then Flournoy had more of a chance, and he really stepped up in those opportunities. Mm-hmm. He stepped up to the point where Dak was trusting him. He was making some catches. Maybe it was 2 catches a game. Yeah. Maybe both of them were first downs. But he was becoming a reliable player as a receiver for Dak, for the offense, and for the team. I was really – because I was worried about him in training camp. He got some opportunity.
They cut him too.
Yeah. Got rid of him, brought him back. Yeah, all that kind of thing you worry about how that would affect a guy. But when he got the opportunity to play after that Chicago game, he never looked back. There was never a question about, well, should Tolbert be playing? Should Mingo be playing and all that? No. Flournoy has done a great job running routes, catching the football, being a guy when they needed him to block. Yeah. Done a good job doing that as well. On the flip side of that, you asked me about Turpin. Mm-hmm. I think that what happened, what made Turpin so great is what he's lost.
Yeah.
I don't think we have that fearless player anymore. I don't think we have that spinning, whirling dervish, old school term of a guy that's just kind of, Tasmanian devil, just all kinds of chaos. Sure. That's how he returned punts and kicks with violence. I haven't seen that at all. And I wonder if Turpin now, with all the stuff that he's doing in 11 personnel, I wonder if he sees himself more as a receiver than a returner or a weapon. And, there's still problems. I mean, there's still things. You could throw him the ball underneath. You can hand him. I don't see the balance that he once had. Yeah. I don't see there's times they hand him the ball in the reverse the other day. He's in open space. He falls down. I don't see that guy. I mean, the guy that we saw at the Commanders game last year in Washington when he won that game by the way he played. I kind of feel like there's a guy, and you really can't. Dak tried to throw him the ball in the end zone the other day, coming across the back. He's not tall enough to go get it. Mm-hmm. Down there, the area's tight. You got to be able to jump, fight for the ball and stuff. Mm-hmm. He's limited in that way. So the things that made him great, we're no longer seeing those.
Yeah.
And that's concerning.
Bryan, I think what Flo did for you this year is when teams would do their damnness to take Pickens and Lamb out the party.
Right.
Flo proved to be trustworthy.
Right.
I think that's major.
That is major.
I think that's major. So going into next year, and Bryan, think about this too, man. Flournoy was like a part of this wide receiver 3 committee thing. Mm-hmm. And for a while, the Cowboys were in denial about Tolbert.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then, we was thinking about Mingo, and then Mingo came back, and Turpin now. Bryan, I think Flournoy has stolen wide receiver 3.
Yeah.
I think he stole it. And I don't think they're gonna move away from him. Now, at one point, we're gonna have a conversation about if Flo stops you from drafting a wide receiver. We kind of mentioned it a little bit, but as draft season goes on, we're going to talk more about, scenarios as if a first round wide receiver falls to you and it's a blinking light on your board. Yeah. What do you do? We're gonna cross that bridge at some point. But as of now, if you sign Pickens, and CeeDee will be around.
Yeah.
I think Flo has locked up wide receiver 3 for you.
Let me ask you a question though. What if you don't do something with Pickens?
I think you have to draft a wide receiver at that point, and then Flo will still be 3 guy for you.
So you see him as a 3, you don't see him as a 2?
Okay. I don't.
Okay.
Personally, I don't. I think Flo's real good when everybody else got the attention, and I don't want nothing else for him but that. I don't want Flo to step up. Stephen Jones loved that shit.
Oh yeah.
Semi Fehoko gonna have to step up.
Yeah.
Jalen Tolbert gonna have to step up.
Yeah.
Some people can't. Some people can't, but I love Flo in that role. Bryan, let me ask you this. Tell me about Nate Thomas's 2025, and what's your forecast for 2026, fam?
Man, I want to believe that Nate Thomas needs to keep playing, and I was hopeful that Nate Thomas would get an opportunity to continue playing some left tackle. Yeah. If Nate Thomas is healthy enough to go, I'd like to see him play right tackle. I know he had struggles against the Arizona Cardinals. It was a bad game for him that way. He got thrown in that mix, 19 pass block snaps, like 4 or 5 pressures there. I think that was unfortunate. As you mentioned, I know what Terrence Steele is.
Sure.
I know what he is as a player. You're basically talking about Nate Thomas as a rookie. Nate Thomas going out there. We've seen Nate Thomas play really well. Kansas City, Philadelphia. We've seen him play well at times. Yeah. But we've also seen him struggle. I think there's you said it best the other day that there are a lot of teams when we watch these teams play around the league, there's a lot of teams with bad offensive linemen.
Sure.
Bad offensive linemen. They'd love to have Nate Thomas playing, you know? They'd love to have Nate Thomas playing one of the left tackle, right tackle.
And we know this because Cam Irvin go and get money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Go get money.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. These guys go on and go somewhere else. But to me, I'm not going to sit there and just get rid of Nate Thomas. You know, the same thing, like the thought about Guyton, the thought about Nate Thomas. You know, I have faith with these coaches that these offensive line coaches and working with Duke and guys like that in the offseason, they're going to get better. They're going to get better. They're going to get stronger. They're going to get more. The footwork's going to get better. The hand placement's going to get better. You know, all those things, the combinations of things I think are all. If a guy like Zach Martin, all-pro guard, can go work with Duke and other people like that and continue, everybody should. And Duke does a great job of putting those guys and getting those guys right and getting them ready. So what I saw from Nate Thomas as a first-year offensive lineman, I was encouraged. Going forward, I wonder now if the Cowboys, if in fact this whole thing with the left tackle, is it about Nate Thomas or is it about Guyton? Yeah. You know, is it about moving Smith out there? Do they not trust either one of those guys? I want to believe personally that I've seen enough that I want to keep going there. But I am more than willing to move on from the right tackle and give Nate Thomas one of those opportunities in 2026.
I agree. I think you could live with Nate at right tackle because you've been a top 5 offense with Nate at right and left tackle, you know, or Terrence Steele at right and Nate at left. You know, I don't see tackle as much of an emergency. I think as long as Nate improves from where he's at right now, I think you'll be good to go. And look, we saw Nate have some good games, and it's probably like rusher dependent. You know what I'm saying? Like if he's against a powerful dude that's not going to bend too much, Nate can win like a power exchange, right? But he has to learn how to deal with those dudes that's bendy and explosive. You know what I mean? So once Nate figured that out, I think it'd be good to go. Brian, what about Shavon Revel?
You know, the thing with Revell, and I have to, first off, I'm not going to give up on him. And I know people out there are probably saying, well, Dan Broaddus, of course you're not going to give. You thought he was one of the best corners in the draft. I feel this about this kid. And, you know, I'm not going to fight people on it. I'm going to let people have their opinion. There's a couple of things. Here again, you're talking about a kid that hasn't played a lot of football. He has not. He dealt with a severe injury. An injury he had to kind of rehab. He had it sounded like corrected in camp, then got hurt again, had to kind of rehab the setback to get to this point. There were 3 weeks where Revell played at a very, very high level, and we loved everything about it. Now we're starting to see teams kind of pick on him a little bit. But you expect that with a rookie corner. Yeah. You expect that. They were going after Bland too. They're going after Diggs. You got no pass rush. They're going to go after your corners, these teams are. The thing with Revell is I'm going to be quiet about it. I'm going to let everything happen, and I'm going to let him show up in 2026, hopefully without a knee brace on, hopefully with a little bit more confidence in the way he plays. He's a confident kid. I mean, he's able to put things behind him and go forward. He gets attacked. You know, you saw the other day that where he missed on the tackle. He went high, should have just knocked the ball carrier out of bounds, and they probably would have made the Chargers punt right there. But he is a guy that loves to play football. He loves to be here. He's a passionate player. He's a confident player. I think 2026 is going to be outstanding for him. And I say that, and I'm not trying to wish it, but I'm saying he has all the traits. Let him Let him have an off season where he's not rehabbing. Let him go work on his footwork. Let him get back to being comfortable playing with balance and turn and how to play man coverage and all that and how to put himself in position. And let him lose that knee brace. I think you'll see a lot different football player in 2026.
I agree, Brian. I agree. And, you know, corner, everybody just can't pop out.
Right.
And just play corner. Corner is incredibly difficult. And, you know, even if you're a young corner, your first 6 games are going to be different than your last, 12 or something like that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So for Revel to be sitting out, coming off the injury, no camp.
Yep.
No camp. He's just been on the course, just been working out, rehabbing, all that. I fully expect Revel to be much better and much more confident. Next year. On that same token, Brian, what about Kalen Carson? Is he going to be a part of this equation next year?
Yeah, this is the one that bothers me the most because I kind of felt like that Kalen Carson was a guy that you watched him play at Wake Forest, at a 3rd round grade on him. I thought he was very competitive. He is starting to be a guy that I worry about that maybe the day is too big for him. Mm-hmm. I think, injury has been a problem with him. He can't get on the field. He can't stay healthy. There's times where he's been very good. You're encouraged by that. And then you watch him play. And other times, he got beat on the deep route the other day where he looked like he couldn't run. I think he got caught in a really bad spot there. They're going to give up big plays that way. I worry about him more than Revell because I don't know if he could stay healthy enough, and I think on the big stage, it's a problem for him.
Yeah,
he's probably not a big-time player that needs to be playing cornerback in the National Football League. And if I go back, and I need to go back and look at my evaluation of him, I don't feel like that it was probably the right evaluation. Like I felt like that you were going to get a competitive, tough, get in your face type of guy. The injuries have really surely hurt him, but I just don't see a guy that looks like he's got things put together right now.
I agree, Brian. I don't think Kalen Carson is going to be a part of the equation next year, but I think Revel's going to be a huge part.
Yeah, absolutely.
Last one, Luke Schoonmaker.
Luke Schoonmaker is a guy that I've always wanted to believe would get better. I think there's times where he has been better. I watched him the other day just to do some blocking stuff. His effort is really good. His finish is not always good. There's times where he will make an incredible adjusting catch. We saw a one-handed catch in a game the other day where he was able to adjust. The blocking is not going to be good enough. I personally feel like, to me, Dallas has got a long line of these 2nd-round tight ends that have ended up not playing very well. And I think Luke Schoonmaker, for where he was drafted, if Luke Schoonmaker, I think you said this, if Luke Schoonmaker was drafted in the 4th round, we'd think Luke Schoonmaker was just fine.
He's doing his thing, yeah.
But Luke Schoonmaker drafted in the 2nd round, we would need more. I think, me personally, I'd like to see more from Spanford. I would like to see more of Spanford in the Luke Schoonmaker role of how he plays. I think that it's going to be if they can move on from Luke Schoonmaker, I think they probably will. But the 2nd round pick, he's kind of hanging on that way. I don't think he's been terrible, but I don't think he's everything that we thought he might be coming out of Michigan.
If the coaches decide to rest players, for the last game of the season, I would love to see Brevin's role expanded.
Yeah, I would too.
I just want to see what it looks like when you draw things up for him. If he's one of the main targets, I want to see him in more of those situations. Like, I don't want to just see Brevin come on just to block people sometimes.
Yeah, it's a bad thing right now when 81's on the field and then 89's on the field because immediately defense thinks run. I mean, there's no really pass element to that. I think there's things that Spanford has done. If you ask me about Spanford, I think Spanford, we asked him coming out of training camp when you and I were doing videos together in our content, we asked Spanford to be better catching the football. I think there's been some flashes where he has been better at that. I thought he fought the ball way too much his first year. I think he's gotten much better of of making those receptions.
I agree, Bryan Broaddus. I agree. Hey, man, appreciate you for doing this with
Thank you, man. Appreciate that. Good questions.
All this kind of stuff. Love y'all. Thank you so much. We got a good week of content in for you. Enjoy your holidays and all that, and your family and stuff. If y'all off for work, enjoy your time off. We're going to get right back on this thing Monday, and we'll start all over again. Draft season's approaching more and more and more, so we'll be rolling out some more names. Check out all the other content that we dropped this week, and we love y'all to pieces. Go to crownglobalmedia.com. Check out the merch. Check out the content. Check out all the other social media links. Thank you very much. That's Bryan Broaddus. I'm Voch Lombardi. We'll catch y'all next time. Crown.